Hello comrades and welcome back to Steve on Steve Plays Hearts of Iron for Kaiserreich. It's been a while since we've done anything Kaiserreich related, and actually a while since I've put anything on the channel. It's been almost a month and I apologize for that, but before we get into any of that, let's get right into this video. So of course we will be playing as, drumroll, the United States of America, except we won't be, will we? We'll be playing as the Combined Syndicates of America, I believe it's called, and yeah. No need to dilly-dally, let's get right into the Civil War. Let's go. So yes, Kaiserreich, been quite a while. Last time we played as Greece, and that went quite okay. So hopefully this time we'll be able to do a somewhat successful run as America. Now of course, if anybody's ever played Kaiserreich, they know that America will explode into a million pieces very soon. So hopefully we'll be able to get some kind of advantage from that. So obviously select national focus. We can't do anything in the beginning because America is about to explode. And everything will be horrible. So in the meantime, let's just kind of try to develop the North a bit, which is where we'll be existing essentially as the the Combined Syndicates of America. And hopefully we'll be able to get some research done before, of course, the inevitable Civil War kicks in. So the United States in 1936. In 1936, the United States of America is gripped by unrelenting crisis, although able to avoid the horrors of the Weltkrieg, which allowed its prosperity to continue well into the 1920s. German victory in the Weltkrieg, followed by the French and British revolutions, led to the Wall Street crash of 1925. This sent the United States spiraling into the Great Depression and allowed the Berlin stock market to take its place as the forefront of the world economy. The election of Herbert Hoover in 1928, while initially promising, failed entirely to reverse the decline of the American economy, and by 1936 the country has spent over a decade in the midst of the worst financial crisis it's ever seen. This fueled the rise of radical parties in America, from the far-left Socialist Party of America to the far-right America First Party. Hoover's contentious re-election by means of the House of Representatives in 1932, and the ongoing Great Depression means that these problems are unlikely to be resolved anytime soon. Many throughout the country fear the upheaval that would result should be one of extreme parties come to power, or should the depression continue unabated. God save America. Ooh, increased radicalization, with the Democrats and Republicans fighting amongst themselves as usual. More and more Americans are feeling alienated from the traditional Big Two and are flocking to the radical AFP and the SPA throughout the country. In these dark times, the distinction between genuine social reform and graft is hard to distinguish. Those under the radical banner in the political enclaves have received some social welfare, share wealth donations from the AFP, and international red aid from the SPA. The party machines of these radicals utilize mass media to a much stronger degree than either the Republicans or Democrats. It's looking more and more like the 1936 elections will come down to Reed or Long. This is really bad. Right, the May Day riots. May Day, International Workers' Day. This is the holiday that the Socialist Party celebrates with numerous parades and speeches and has since its founding. Generally things are peaceful, though there have been confrontations with the police. However, this time things are more violent than normal. Clashes between the Socialists and the local police, backed up by the AFP, have occurred throughout the country. The question is, who is at fault? The Socialists declare that things were peaceful till the police and the AFP goons arrived on the scene. The AFP is saying that the Socialists began by assaulting unionized workers, and have blurry photos they claim are guns the SPA were brandishing. Oof, okay. The SPA were at fault, or the police are at fault? Let's blame the Socialists just for fun. I'll see how that will end up. Yeah. Right, following special elections held in Washington. So following the death of Senator Wesley Lloyd, a special election has been called in Washington to fill his seat. The frontrunners are SPA activist John F. McKay and Democratic Congressman John McCain Coffey. Polls have just closed and the winner appears to be... Ooh, let's put the Socialists in charge just to make this more confusing and difficult for everyone. That should be fun. Progressive flock to the SPA. Minnesota, which has long been a bastion of the progressive Senator Floyd Olson, has finally flipped. Many people are turning away from Senator Olson in the direction of the IWW and the SPA. Oh, various unions have held rallies for the SPA. There's something in the water. If only this is how it was in the real world, people actually noticing the change needs to happen. Ooh, paramilitary militias forming. With violence and instability sweeping the country, the AFP and SPA have begun to form various paramilitary militias, which they claim are necessary to protect the people. The AFP have called their group the Minutemen, while the SPA is the Red Guard. Seen patrolling their strongholds and party rallies, these well-armed and equipped paramilitary units have already engaged and scattered the extremely violent conflicts. We believe the paramilitaries are modifying civilian firearms, and the FBI's attempts to seize weapon stockpiles are too slow to stop gun runners. This could turn bad very fast. Wow. We wouldn't want that to happen, would we? Not in a good old US of A. So finally, things are heating up in America. Violence between the SPA and the AFP in a number of major cities. Conflicts between supporters of the America First Party and the Socialist Party have broken out in violence. Partisan fistfights and even shootouts are starting to become a regular occurrence throughout the country as the country spirals deeper into chaos. While public eruptions are easy to counter, the enclaves these radicals have cut out of city blocks, run on graft, are harder to stop. Yes, we're approaching the elections and things are about to get very, very saucy. So here we finally are, the 1936 presidential election. The results are finally in from what was probably the most ideologically contested presidential election the United States has ever witnessed. None of the four major parties have secured enough votes in the Electoral College to outright win the presidency, and as a result the House of Representatives once again has to vote on the winner of the election. This is probably not the end of our problems, but for the time being, victory goes to... Oof, alright, let's see. Jack Reed, Socialist, Huey Long, John Nance Garner, some Democrat conservative douchebag, and some Republicans. Of course, we're taking Jack Reed of the Socialist Party, naturally. Look at that. President Jack Reed, a writer, trade union leader, a senator, a journalist, and a syndicalist of the Syndicalist Party. Anarcho-syndicalist is the leading Marxist revolutionary ideology. So yes, this will definitely not lead to any problems in the future, and we will all live happily ever after. But of course, the bourgeoisie are furious. From New York to San Francisco, the rich and powerful protested Reed's election in the Hearst newspapers and in congressional addresses. It is clear that the upper class is furious and have begun to radicalize against the SPA. Let reactionaries shout. Soon they'll be doing a lot more than that, I'm afraid. Violence and chaos spreads. In the immediate aftermath of Reed's court packing, Long has come out aggressively against Reed, all but calling for an armed uprising. Whole counties and states, especially in the South, are refusing to accept Reed's executive orders as law, and there's been a massive uptick in violent clashes being reported between the Minutemen and the Red Guard. Unless orders restored, the country's bound for a civil war. The police should be helping the Red Guard. Yeah, basically there's like a bunch of little events that I'm not reading because there's so many of them and this video would be a million years long, but they're very interesting, and I do recommend that you play as an American and try to do the socialist path, because a lot of the flavor text is actually really interesting and really informs how they're trying to run the country. It's really cool. I really do recommend it. And so it begins. Macarthur marches onto Washington. Reed's support in DC has finally bottomed out. General Douglas Macarthur has marched into Washington, DC today to arrest Reed and his cabinet at the White House. Macarthur's marchers reminded many in DC of Cox's army of 1932, except these men are motivated to preserve the status quo and were cheered instead of booed. Having been tipped off by SPA informants in Macarthur's command staff, Reed was able to stay ahead of the traitorous general and has escaped to Chicago. Macarthur has chosen to inhabit the White House and coordinate an investigation into Reed from the executive chair. Civil war is imminent. My allegiance was to the Republic, Macarthur, to democracy. So, Macarthur is now in charge, and Jack Reed has fled to Chicago, where he will continue to lead the socialists. And yes, Douglas oh, there we go. And so it happens. President Reed declares the Second American Revolution. President Reed has escaped to Chicago and has declared that Macarthur is a traitor to all the people of America. He and his followers have taken control of the Steel Belt, and many are starting to listen to his call for revolution against Macarthur and the bourgeoisie. The disaster has begun, stand by the Republic, or the revolution has begun, stand by the workers. Play as the CSA, let's go. There we go, the Combined Syndicates of America, would you look at that. Jack Reed as our president. Yes, we obviously have a lot of problems, and a lot of... Upton Sinclair is actually the Minister of Economy. That's really interesting. Upton Sinclair was liberal, and he wrote a very, very good book called It Can't Happen Here, which I really recommend. A fantastic book about how fascism can take over America. Really interesting book, so really highly recommend it. But yes, I think this will be the end for this episode. We have witnessed the slide and collapse of the American system into civil war, which is about to erupt all across this continent. We have declared the revolution, the Second American Revolution, and we are about to spread socialism through these United States. Well, I mean, not much united anymore. So yes, thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and Please leave any comments in the comments below, any recommendations, suggestions, future videos that you would like to see in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe, join our Discord server, and as always, I will see you in our next video. Bye bye.